Guys, deluded. I'm back again. Arsenal 1, Newcastle 2, Arsenal 1, whichever way you want to say it. I know I'm late to the party, but I finally got to watch it. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've been away, had a nice break, and I'm back. So let's just crack on with the game. Um, it was sad because I heard the scoreline mid-holiday, mid-picture, while I was taking a picture actually, and I was actually watching some of it on my phone, and then I put the phone down, obviously, take the picture. When I heard the scorelines, it got turned off. But now I've watched it. I don't even know if I'm angry, if I'm upset, if I'm resigned to this now, if I'm irritated. I don't know what I am, guys, now, man. But let's crack on. Going into the game, there's nothing to play for in the league. Now, I personally don't like saying that there's 3 points game in, game out. You still have something to play for. We might not get top four, we might not do anything wavy, but you still have 3 points on the line, so you have something to work for. And if these players behaved like that, we'd be in a different position. So we have something to play for. Clearly, Newcastle have something more to play for. They're in a relegation fight. Now, I do that because they, at least before I checked the table to make my preview, they were sitting 10th in the league. For a side that's here marked as not having players good enough for the Premier League, a certainty to go down. You saw how they were in the first half of the season. To sit 10th is a fantastic achievement, and if that was a young English manager or a young manager or any other manager that's held in higher regard, I say that lightly because Rafa Benitez is a league winner and he's won trophies. Held in high regard, you do know about that. So yeah, we're going against a side just on that basis that are going to be more inspired, that are going to want to fight for every 50-50 a bit more. I've told you about Newcastle's away fans as well. They're there with 12 players. In relation to that, our away form is woeful. While there's nothing to play for, at least on paper, fantastic victory would be a 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, whatever victory, walking away with a clean sheet, walking away with our first away points in 2018. There's nothing more to say than that. It's ridiculous. We knew we was going to see some rotation, despite the fact I know there's injuries and Ramsey's got that nasty gash and Mkhitaryan might be back quicker than expected, but he's out injured, so we need to preserve players. But we do not have a Europa League tie next week. I'm sure if you compare these, I'll stand corrected, but I'm sure if you compare these, whether it's pre-season when we give man break too many long breaks as well, but I'm sure if you look at all of the top six sides, I'm assuming we're still in the top six, or at least compare us to the other traditional top six. I'm so sure the minutes played, the minutes run, all of them things are better than Arsenal. So we're very old fashioned in the rest thing. I'm not knocking it because there's been times when man have to get rested, but it is ridiculous. So yeah, man. The bench was weird as well. We was on a decent run prior to this game as well. So yeah, first half, first 20 minutes in particular, was a weird game because on one hand I felt both teams did alright. I also felt both teams played poorly. Both sides were nervy defensively. Down our right hand side, whenever balls were going into Newcastle's box, whenever Shelby was picking out his wingers on the flanks for us, I mean for them to trouble our fullbacks, to having joy putting balls into the box, they were asking questions, and it was very scrappy, it was very nervy from both sides. I was impressed with Callum Chambers ain't a right back, but I liked the way he tried to get forward. Aubameyang looked like someone inspired down that left-hand channel. Lacazette was getting involved. I felt Xhaka was pretty good, as was El Nene. Joe Willock found it very hard throughout that whole game, and he will learn a lot from that. But other than that, we're looking like we're up for it. They're looking nervous. But to be honest, I'm being honest, both sides, it looked like there was a lot of gaps. This is why I said it's a weird one, because from an Arsenal point of view, you would watch that game and you would be quite confident and quite calm. You felt Newcastle was sitting back a bit too much. But on the other hand, when Newcastle going forward, they were getting opportunities. You could see the miscommunication from the jump with us. You could see us getting caught from the jump. You could see Perez hanging on to Mustafi's last man and running off his shoulder when he's unaware from the jump of the game. So first 20 minutes was a bit cagey. And almost forgot 14th minute. It was a lovely counter attack, I believe. It was a lovely goal from us. Mustafi, question marks over the defending, and we'll get to you later, but it's a lovely ball from you to Aubameyang. Aubameyang, it's an equally lovely ball to wait in Lacazette. Lacazette, it's a lovely finish, and what a beautiful thing them man there could be up front together next season or whenever, if Wenger will play them or a new manager will play them, which I hope happens. But yeah, it's 1-0. It looks like we're going for the good, and I say that lightly because you know how poor our away form has been and all of these things. So yeah, it's 1-0. We had an excellent chance, Callum Chambers, to make it 2. We had a couple other chances. Lacazette tried to square it for Aubameyang. Willock was in the way. A couple other men had chances, but this is where you go with, you need to kill games. Away from home, you need to kill games. You need to kill games in the Premier in full stop, but you need to kill games. 1-0, there's still something in it, and Gale's bombing down. Perez is making himself a nuisance. Like I already said, Shelby's pinging balls. The Army's fighting for everything. There's still much in this game because both sides, I believe, are giving, I don't want to say a lot, but they're giving stuff away that you feel there's goals. Personally, I felt even before the one going 1-0 up, I felt it might be you might have to change to 3 at the back here because we're giving too much away. Let's make it a 3 at the back. Paul Chambers and Holding inside. Monreal go and do that too. And just have a bit more stability, to be honest with you, because we look, especially down the sides, we weren't, in my opinion, using, when we did, we troubled them, but we don't. It's a running story. We don't use our width enough and the wide men enough, specifically to this play today. Against Newcastle, I don't think we did, and they were troubling down us in the middle. I felt we coped, but yeah, man, there's not much more to be said on that front, man. Like it's. Did they score? This is how messed I am. I didn't even care. They scored. I'm so sure they scored. They scored in the first half, around 9 or 10 minutes, or just over that later. Perez. It's a lovely bit of play from everyone. It's a lovely bit of play, man. It's a counter. Several things are going wrong. Cech can do much. It's Cech's fault, in my opinion. Come on, bruv. Come on. You got to be able to save that. You're putting in clangers every week. And to be honest, Cech's prior to that mistake, his distribution was quite good. And shortly after, his distribution deteriorated, which shows his nervousness at 35, to be honest with you. But yeah, Cech should be covering better. Mustafi is completely unaware. I'm so sure Holding turned his back. The midfield, I'm seeing Iwobi, I'm seeing people walking. Now, I'm not going to blame the midfield, but it just shows you collectively how much we do not rate defending, because when it's all going forward, everybody's flying forward, everybody's running. It's 1-1, and it shows you an inability to hold an away lead, an inability to manage out a game, to weather the storm, and I'm not talking and to play under pressure. And what I mean by that is I'm not talking 5 or 6 man closing the ball down when you're trying to play passes. That's not Arsenal. A lot of these players are here. They shouldn't, but a lot of players are here because they can do that. I'm talking when the crowd is against it, when the crowd is the 12th man, when they're gassing up every tackle, when the ref is not going against us. This has been a constant theme of our season, so this is where we're sitting. So it's 1-1. To be honest, Chambers had a chance already, like I said, to make it 2-1, but they had a couple of it. So both sides are probably lucky at 1-0 down to not concede more, in my humble opinion. But half-time, my thoughts are, again, we cannot press for a sustained amount of time. We started allowing them to play with the back from the back, which got them back in the game. We can't concentrate for large periods of time collectively as a side. You're seeing individual mistakes. You're not seeing proactiveness to defending. There's no critical fingers. If someone goes to the ball, who's covering short? I saw times, as much as Onana's been in good form, and you have to do it. At times, he's the furthest man forward pressing. There was a time it was a counter attack. Mustafi wasn't the nearest man to the ball. If you were the nearest man, I can understand. But he's there pressing the ball. There's strikers there. You're a centre half. Get back in position. Much more to the fact is you're the most experienced centre half on the field today. I don't know where Koscielny is or what's up with Koscielny. Bellerin's not there. Chambers is at right back. Holding's about. You need to stand up and be counted. Willock's being stressed out. Nothing is going right for Willock. It's my guy, and it's paining me to see it, but it's a good educational experience. I would have loved for him to have played a blinder, and it would have been good for his confidence. But equally, the world isn't like that. You only know your level when things like this happen, and he's got the ability to make it here. What he doesn't currently have possibly is the sharpness of mind to think quicker, less touches, because he was caught out on many occasions. The touch wasn't quite there, and things like that. I don't condone the abuse Willock got, and to be honest, like I said, it's a learning curve. You learn what level you're currently at and the level you need to aspire to. But they're my feelings into half-time. The main one as well was switching to 3 at the back prior to going a goal down. Second half, I don't even want to speak about the second half. It just hit the fan again. It's more calamity. Okay, last 10, 15, we might have had a goal. Lacazette should have scored. Should have squared, sorry. Welbs could have done a bit better with one opportunity when he came on. I felt Iwobi entered the fray a bit more in the second half. But it was too late. It's too late. Again, poor defending. Another one. It's down the right-hand side. Eventually, it's near our area. I don't know why Monreal was even going for that. This is what I'm saying. Who is speaking? I'm not blaming Cech, but Cech, you can see in front of you. Why is he over-covering? It's a poor attempt to win the ball, at least if I can remember, for Monreal. It doesn't happen. We're at 6s and 7s collectively. And I believe it's like 3 on 6 at one point as well. It collectively collapsed defensively. Monreal's not in position because of that. Down to the left hand. It falls to the right-hand side, our left. Matt Ritchie slots it home. It's fantastic play from all them Newcastle boys. It's 2-1 and they deserve it. We've been on a little decent run against Newcastle, and they deserve to end it, man. And like I said, they showed fight collectively, man for man. The Army, like, I know Perez was running the show and Gale was mashing work and Shelby can do the superstar passes, but the Army was just clamping everything up. For what it's worth, it's a weird game because we play crap. We ultimately deserve to lose because of the scoreline. Wenger's there still actually talking about Thursday's game and lackluster performances. How many times every year are you going to be here and say that? Personally, it's a weird game because I believe we play terrible, but at the same time I don't. It's individual mistakes, but again, we've been down this road many a times, and it's not going to change again. We've got United in a few weeks. West Ham, we got to turn up. Burnley are catching us. We've got United in a few weeks. Sure, they lost to West Brom, and I bet on my United fan friends and run little bants, but I don't want to lose that, I don't want to get benched, I actually don't. We ain't won at Old Trafford for a while. If we're gonna with the stats going on, does that look like we're gonna do anything at Old Trafford with our away form? Woefulness, woefulness. People love separating the league and the Europa League. I personally believe in the two in the sense that, yes, the league is done. What I mean by that is you keep the same attitude. You don't disrespect the league. We're disrespecting it. Man are blaming fatigue. Wenger, what are you talking about? I don't know if Koscielny was fit and all of these people were fit, and I called for youngsters myself. But it has to be better. You have to. I do not, personally, one thing I don't get why we didn't switch to three at the back in the game, because you could see it was going away from us. And I don't get, to a degree, why he didn't play a slightly stronger side, knowing that we're not playing in the Europa League next week against Atletico. I stand corrected if we actually are. But it's ridiculous. If it's tiredness, it's tiredness, cool. But again, City are not in the champs anymore. When is City? They're not doing it. Mo Salah, Klopp. When the only time Mo Salah was getting arrested is when he's literally holding off his leg. Then you saw Klopp not messing around and taking him off. Again, like I said at the start, the amount of minutes and all these things that the top six sides play compared to us will just be ridiculous. And if Wenger's here next season, it's not going to get any better because he's going to over-rest players with the World Cup being played, depending on when these players' countries go out. So if you go out in the final, we're not going to see you to the 14th of August, which means you're not going to play the first game of the Premier League season. If you go out in the normal group stages, you might be. We're going off to Singapore. Several players are not going to be there as well. In pre-season, I'm talking about. But there's not much more to be said, people, man. We go on to Atletico, United, West Ham. These are the sort of games we've got coming up in the future. And again, West Ham are fighting relegation. They love to score little 90th minute goals like you saw with Carroll and Hernandez. We cannot play like this next season. This season is going to continue, and it will always continue as long as Wenger, sadly, is at the helm, because I don't believe you're to blame for everything, pardon me, but fundamentally, anything that happens on the pitch, yes, players have to take responsibility. You can't account for Cech and Mustafi doing nonsense every week. But the culture, the mentality, everything stems from you. The ideas stem from you. The constant silly excuses and things, you're just past it. And I personally think, regardless of you win or lose the Europa League, you're not gone. They will have to sack you, and it's not going to happen. There's not much more to be said, man. Like I said, I'm back from my holiday. More videos. Let's go, man. Guys, Deluded. Get in the comments for the Q&A, because I need to record that later than my usual time. So get in the comments with the Q&A questions, people. Guys, Deluded. Arsenal 1, Newcastle 2. Unfortunately, I'm out.